everybody. मेरे viewers ਨੂੰ एक बहुत प्यार भरी सत श्री अकाल, namaste, salam. This is Dr. Biba Singh and we are on my show Rhythm of Healing. आज I am introducing a guest, a woman कि ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹਾਂ, whenever I meet her, I wonder, how does she do it all? Not only does she have her own fabulous fashion line called Stylush Couture that blends South Asian culture with a blend of the Western world, she has also started a YouTube channel called Brunch with Bijal. And if that's not enough, she also is the mother to 4 beautiful children and the wife of Mr. Stylush, Vohra, who is also an ER physician managing 2 ERs. So without further delay, let us introduce my guest, Bijal Vohra. Welcome, Bijal.
Hi, Biba. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited.
We're so happy to have you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I wish I could have been in the studio with you today. As I mentioned, I'm taking a mini vacation with my family. So I appreciate that you guys are having me sign in from here.
So Bijal, there's so much to talk about, but ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੇ ਫੈਸ਼ਨ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਰ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਇੱਕ ਇੰਨੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਲਾਈਨ ਹੈ ਸਟਾਈਲਿਸ਼ couture. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਬ੍ਰਾਂਡ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸੋ. What is Stylush Couture?
So Stylush Couture is custom fashion, and I design for men, women, and kids, and I try to add a little bit of an Indian touch to any of our garments that we wear. So I want Indian fashion to be celebrated around the world, and I design them for everyday people. So I started about 4 years ago.
How did you start? I mean, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਨੇ busy ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 4 ਬੱਚੇ ਨੇ, ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿਆਰੇ and ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੀ fashion line ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ?
Yeah, so I actually have a lot of experience in fashion that not a lot of people knew about. I've modeled for Manish Malhotra, Ritu Kumar, Bijal Singh, and when I was working with a television show before interviewing a lot of these designers and celebrities for the red carpet, I also got the opportunity to be in the fashion shows and speak to designers, learn their inspiration, learn a little bit about the personality they add in their fashion. And when I was looking to embark on it a few years ago after I left my job in finance, I wasn't that nervous because I had experience in finance and marketing from undergrad, international manager MBA, and a lot of experience working with designers and being a model on runway. And also, throughout my life, whenever I've gone to India, I've designed my own outfits. I always found some local tailor and I went to the fabric store and I started designing long before this. It's only the last few years that after I became a mother, that it really changed my outlook on changing career paths. And I feel like becoming a mother allowed me to start my life in fashion because it was something that I can do while raising them. And it gave me that outlet of creativity and still working with other people where, when you're usually a new mom, you don't get that chance to interact with that many people because you're so busy with the children.
Right.
But now, I went to India with a business plan a few years ago, and I started off with 2 teams, and now I have 6 teams all throughout India and London that work for me and all have different fortes. And so it's fantastic. Like, I'm always so excited to design something new. I'm constantly motivated. And a lot of the fashion is actually things that I need myself. And how I still want to incorporate something Indian, whether it's our beautiful fabrics or the embroideries, into my everyday life, into my husband's life, and into my kids' life. And that became a brand.
That is so nice. It's so wonderful to hear your journey. I want to know a little bit about the women empowerment movement. I know you did like a few shoots, and I've seen some amazing work about women empowerment. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, I was in finance, working near Wall Street, working on big M&A deals. M&A deals meaning mergers and acquisitions. So I was there helping companies go public, and it was so fun and fantastic to learn such different information, meet with CEOs, work on big deals that were affecting all of what we eat, industries, companies that we use today. Like one of my biggest deals was the Shake Shack IPO, right? So everyone knows Shake Shack. I was sitting in their offices working on those deals. But doing that, I learned a lot of sales, customer relationships. So I feel like that gave me a lot of experience, but it also made me appreciate how amazingly talented CEOs are when new entrepreneurs. So I felt like when I started the brand, who did I want to represent my fashion? And because I did have experience in modeling, I realized it wasn't just models I wanted in my fashion. I wanted it to be role models. So a lot of my campaigns have been surrounded about empowerment. And so first start off with female empowerment, because I found so many amazing entrepreneurs that were South Asian and they were CEOs. So there were, people like you, Biba, you're a prime example. On the side, here you are, you're a physician, you're saving lives and you're doing amazing. And then here you are following your dreams, and singing as well as being on this show. So I think that you guys are the celebrities. You guys should deserve to be on a pedestal. And you guys are role models. And I want to, if I have an opportunity to be someone that people visually look at my fashion, then I want to invite them in and tell that person's story, because I think that it's so amazing. It's inspiring. And it actually, you guys are trailblazers. So that's how I started. And because I do men's fashion, I actually started a male empowerment campaign as well, because I felt that due to us being minority, a lot of men were also in positions where they weren't able to climb the ladder because they were men of color. So I know women have struggled for in many areas of our life because we are female, and it's been a little bit of a tougher road and tougher journey, which is changing, I think, slowly but surely now. Right. The future will be female, but I think men also deserve that platform and the applause for what they've been going through. So that's where I kind of started both campaigns, and it's been so much fun, Biba, because I've been pregnant majority of this. Oh my God. So it's kind of carried me through my pregnancies. I had 4 kids in 5 years. So Stylush has obviously been a part of that whole journey. And what's been so cool about it is that I've traveled around the world to find these amazing people and tell these stories. And I would like to mention one that really touched my heart the most. And it was, I was in Mumbai. I was pregnant with my 4th, Braden, who's only 2 years old right now. In Mumbai. And I asked my husband, because I needed his approval as a physician, if I can travel to India, and none of my pregnancies were good. They were like, I was sick throughout all of my pregnancies. Aww. My husband was putting IVs in my arms, but I was like still a trooper, right? And I went to India and I found this amazing woman, Aditi.
Bijal, how many months pregnant were you when you went?
I went when I was just about 6.5 months pregnant.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so I was large, I was big. And so I went for a week and I met this I met this entrepreneur named Aditi Verma, and she only spoke in Hindi, and she had Down syndrome, but she opened up her own restaurant in Mumbai, and it's called Aditi's Corner. And so I was so inspired by her story. We had the full team at the Taj Hotel, Land's End. I had a makeup artist, I had my team in Mumbai that came and met me in person, and we styled her, we dressed her up, and when she looked in the mirror, we all just cried because she didn't have a reason to ever get glammed up. I mean, most people get glammed up on their wedding days, unless you are in the limelight. So it was so beautiful to see that, and then I get to sit down and interview her. So all of my empowerment campaigns are about, we do a lot of photos, but then I also sit down and use my journalism side, and I interview these amazing people, and I ask them what made them get started. I ask them what are some advice they have for someone that wants to get started, and I want them to have a community. And so I feel like with Stylush Couture, the name of the campaigns has been a style for every story. And it's kind of stuck on. It's really just been my passion to create a campaign like this that actually inspires other people and values them as game changers. And I'm so excited that I got to do that, these last few years while having children.
Yeah, it's really amazing. So I wanted to ask you, you have so much creativity. And I see, like, we're going to be showing your clips throughout, and I wanted to ask you, I love some of your stuff, that like how to restyle a lehenga or how to wear a dupatta multiple ways, or many of us go to ਅਸੀਂ Indian events ਤੇ ਵੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ American events ਤੇ ਵੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, so some of your outfits could be multicultural, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਤਲਬ Indo-Western outfits ਵੀ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ, so like that way it could be worn in different multiple ways, and we have multiple uses. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I feel like our culture is represented a lot in our fabrics and our embroideries, and they tell a story. I'm Gujarati and I'm married into a Punjabi family. So I have so much love and pride for my culture. And so, but being born in the States, I'm born in New Jersey. And so I feel like I have a nice blend of the Indian upbringing as well as, went to school here and assimilated to the culture here as well. So because I'm a mix of both cultures, that's what my fashion represents. And on top of that, we live in a melting pot in this beautiful world, and especially in America, where I can see people that are non-Indians appreciate some of my fashion. So because they do, I think it's a really great way to embrace another culture and invite people into our culture by showing them maybe a blazer that maybe with a little bit of Indian kundan buttons, for example, that they can appreciate and they love, and they think it's so unique and they respect. And I think that's a form of unity. So that's one of the campaigns that I also put forward. That's just the way I was brought up, is to, look at everyone as equal and everyone as one. And so my fashion represents that as well.
Very nice. So how can people look at your stuff, your videos, your Instagram, Facebook? Where do people follow you?
Yeah, so thanks so much for asking. I recently started a website. Before, I was so busy just doing custom fashion and raising the 4 kids. My husband's on the front lines, so usually it's just me and the 4 children these last few years. And then, of course, like my growing team in India and London. And having to balance mom life and designer life and just being a wife in general. I feel like now I actually have a website. I started a YouTube channel this year, and the brand is actually under the umbrella of Bijal Vohra, because a lot of people started asking me about how I balance the family life. Some people are interested in the fashion. Some people are interested in some of the other things that I do as a female entrepreneur or a woman in general. So because I wore so many hats and I found that people were interested in learning about them, I created everything under Bijal Vohra. And so you can go to bijalvohra.com, and then you'll find a bunch of my videos. You'll find links to my YouTube channel. You'll find outfits to buy, and you'll also find my lookbook of a lot of the celebrities that I've styled.
Very nice. And speaking of, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ celebrities ਨੂੰ style ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ models ਨੂੰ. Tell us some of the people you styled.
Yeah, so to my earlier point, I think celebrities, of course, being in the limelight always needs to look glamorous, but then at the same time, they also need to look like themselves. And I take a lot of pride in getting to know clients and seeing, what colors they like, I get an idea of what styles they already wear. So then this way, I'm not changing their entire look. I'm actually customizing my pieces to their personality so they still feel comfortable in front of the camera. And that's really important to me. I want to make sure that people feel confident on the inside when they wear my things, and I actually listen to them based on what they do, what kind of look they want to achieve, and how they want what their image to look like.
I think that's what's really amazing about you, is that you actually get to know the person. But I definitely want to hear more about this right after a quick break.
Sure.
welcome back. Welcome back to all our guests. And we were talking before the break on a lot of your, ways to make people feel comfortable, which is a beautiful trait that you have. But what I want to ask you is, to see बहुत fashion line which बहुत सारी चीज़ें करते हो, and some of your stuff is maybe not, something that people are maybe used to, such as your pregnancy shoot and you getting that beautiful tattoo from Beyonce's tattoo artist. How did the community react to that? How did you feel?
Well, that was my fourth pregnancy, and I think that at that time, or my fourth child, I should say, and I think at that time I was like not nervous about being a woman and a mother and all the taboos that we have in our society about being pregnant and expectations that are held upon us. I felt like I already had so many children that the fourth one, at this point, it was okay for me to let go a little bit. And that was my first time I did a photo shoot of myself being pregnant and showing my belly. And I'm so proud that, Beyonce actually respected our henna artist. It was Gloria of Henna. And I went to LA and I was pregnant and it actually just fell on my lap. I was not looking to be in the shoot. And I was using a henna company to tattoo onto the girls because I wanted to make it very exotic and fun and show like how our henna can be applied on our arms and in a very artistic style. So since they saw that I was pregnant right then and there, they absolutely wanted to tag my stomach and they gave me all the confidence. And because Beyonce did it, I felt like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like I want to do that. I'm Indian. This is my own henna. If Beyonce's going to show our culture, I want to do it and stand really proud as well. And it was amazing. I mean, I felt like a real woman. I really did.
That was a very
to
cool.
be able to embody our culture around my stomach, which holds, the generations of Indian kids, right? I have 4 beautiful Indian kids. And then when we wanted to have kids, we couldn't. And it was such a big shock for us. And so we tried a lot of different things. And eventually what worked for us was IVF, so in vitro. So we did IVF. And the most amazing part about it is that our 4th is actually a miracle baby. Yeah, so we were trying to get pregnant. And so my firstborn, Jake, he's 6 years old. I have twins, Isabella and Dylan, and they are 4 years old. And my surprise miracle baby is Braden, and he is 2 years old.
Aww.
And he was actually the one that we didn't do IVF with, and he came naturally. And, we share that story very proudly because in our culture, sometimes these are the things that are not spoken of, and these are challenges that a couple goes through.
Right.
And I think it's really important, if you have the strength and the audience to talk to, that we should share our story. And I'm glad that more and more people are like me coming out and saying these things because we can help so many people, get pregnant, stay positive because of this story that I told. So that's kind of a reason that I can do it because I wanted to have children. I was madly in love with Anuj and we wanted to have a beautiful family and continue the lineage of who we are. And we couldn't get pregnant, but then we got blessed with 4 back to back to back. So I was like, I guess God thinks I can handle it if he's giving me a miracle baby when I'm like so much later in life. But that's why it's very hard for me to complain because I wanted this so bad and I worked really hard to get it.
Yeah, I know. And so the other thing I wanted to ask you about is Brunch with Bijal. I've been seeing this and this is really cool. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਨਵਾਂ YouTube channel ਤੇ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ show ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ Brunch with Bijal. ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਦੱਸੋ.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So when you go to Bijal Vohra on YouTube, I have 3 different segments on my channel. And 3 because I wanted to appeal to a lot of different audiences. So a lot of people are asking about my family. And so because we go everywhere, we do everything together and it's just Anuj and me and the kids, or sometimes it's just me and the children. Right. There's no nanny on the background or anyone helping. It's really just us trying to show like the crazy and fun side of a family, like the values, the dynamics. And we want to spread some positivity. We want to make people laugh. And the kids are pretty funny. So we started doing a family vlog, which means we take you into our life. And I believe we're one of the only Indian families that's showcased on YouTube at the moment, which is exciting. And Brunch with Bijal is one of the other segments because I actually didn't know how to cook much meat. And my husband is like proper Punjabi, mom makes amazing chicken curry and they love their kebabs. And, so I wanted to learn to cook, meat a little bit better. And so, but growing up Gujarati, I ate a lot of vegetables my whole life. There's a lot of sabzis and stuff. So when I started understanding my husband in the medical profession and how I had to take care of him and make sure he has constant vitamins and healthy food, and he was also teaching me about it, I decided to actually blend my Gujarati upbringing, which is vegetables and sabzis and things like that are really good for us and I think add to my energy. And then blend that with, Punjabi cooking. And to merge the two is really kind of cool because it's not out there in cookbooks. It's not a recipe. I actually make it up myself. Gujaratis are really resourceful if you come across Gujaratis. And so I basically just use whatever I have in my fridge and I work with it. So sometimes I'll do spinach and bell peppers will be the base of my curry, and I'll add a little bit of milk to it with chicken. Milk because it's dairy. So instead of using heavy cream, I use milk, and I find that my food comes out really soft. I mean, I've actually pleased my mother-in-law, who's a beautiful Punjabi woman. She's half Sikh and she's half Hindu Punjabi, and she's like, these are the best kebabs I've ever had.
Wow.
And I use turkey meat because it's leaner, and then half of the kebab is actually vegetables. So it's spinach, it's bell pepper. A lot of times I don't even use any oil or butter. Can you imagine Indian cooking without those two things that we were raised to put in our khana, right? So starting Brunch with Bijal is I love cooking, but I love also cooking and then spending time with my family while they're eating it, right? A lot of times we as women or men are stuck in the kitchen and you are cooking and making all these amazing meals and you don't actually get to see the smiles on the faces of the people you're feeding. So for me, we're foodies. So my husband's, I know, especially in a time like a pandemic, I want to pump the most vitamins I can put in my children and my husband while they're going on the front lines. And so I'm a little less nervous. I know I packed them in with goodies. And, a lot of the times, I mean, at 4 kids, you'll see that we actually don't get sick, knock on wood, that often. But I really want to attribute that to the amount of vegetables and fruit that they actually eat. And I've done that from the get-go. And that's where Brunch with Bijal started because I want to share those secrets with all of you. I want people to be healthier. I want people to feel like, shop a little bit differently with our groceries and still be economical. You don't have to spend so much money to get good meals. Yeah. And also you don't have to spend so much time. Right. So how to be resourceful, make really good meals, use it different ways, make one meal for I like spicy food. I love eating green chilies. It's something that I got from my Punjabi father-in-law. He'll have a kebab and a green chili in his hand. And green chilies have tons of vitamin C, by the way.
You're making me hungry, by the way, now.
But putting it from my kids' food, now Brunch with Bijal now teaches you those recipes where you can make, for example, a salmon 3 ways in less than 40 minutes. So Bijal, you have something that appeals to many palates. Yeah.
Bijal, you're doing fashion. You're busy being a mom and a wife, and now a cooking show. What is next in your future? What do you have planned?
Well, the cooking show is actually, everything on the channel still has some sort of fashion in it. So I wear my outfits on the cooking show. And I feel like it's a nice way for me to reach out to a culinary audience or just someone that wants to learn quick cooking and isn't so scared. I'm maybe scared in the beginning, but then it's almost like, how can I teach someone to cook without them being so nervous about it?
Wow.
Make it fun.
So you like to combine a lot of things, I see, which is really great. I'm so excited that ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ show ਤੇ ਆਏ ਹੋ ਔਰ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਔਰ we got to learn about so much of your life, your family, your creative energies. People are going to love to follow you, bijalvohra.com. We have loved having you on the show, so thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and we hope to have you back soon. Thank you, Bijal.
Biba, I'm so honored that you selected me on your show. Your show is amazing. I mean, the first guest you had was my husband, and I remember coming there and styling both of you guys and making sure you're perfect on camera. So it truly is an honor to be sitting in that seat.
Yes.
So thanks to you and your team for having me.
Thank you, and thank you all for watching Rhythm of Healing.